Hi, I'm Mrs. McCarthy. I'm the teacher that dresses up in costumes. Today I'm wearing a costume from around the 1770s, 1780s, so back in colonial days or the time of the American Revolution. Now back in those days, you could tell what what their social status was simply by looking at how they were dressed, because there were certain social customs and even in some colonies actual laws that you could only wear certain things if you were of a certain social class. So I'm dressed today as more of maybe a middle to middle upper class person. I'm not wearing something a really wealthy person would wear. They would probably wear silks and lots of layers, but I do have kind of a fancy dress. I have lace, and this is a silk fichu or scarf and some other things. So the higher somebody was on the social ladder, the more layers that they wore as well. So women in particular tended to wear a lot of layers, especially wealthy women. So I have a few layers today. I have underneath here, it's kind of like a nightgown, kind of like a granny style nightgown. Everyone would have worn this. It was called a shift. For women it was longer, like a nightgown. For men it was more like a really long shirt. But everybody wore their shift pretty much 24/7, because when you would go to bed at night, you would strip off all these outer layers and you would just go to bed in your shift. It was basically your pajamas. Then when you got up in the morning, you would put on all the outer layers back on again. So that's my lowest layer, the shift. And then usually women would wear several petticoats. I actually only have one under petticoat because I would be too hot here at school if I wore more. And then the dress that I am wearing is called a round gown, and it was popular at that time. So, okay, here's the back. You can see my dress sticks out because I'm wearing what's called a hip roll, which is basically just a stuffed thing that ties around my waist. Kind of gives the dress that poofy look, which was popular. Underneath here I have some other layers. Women back in colonial times wore something known as stays, which is kind of like a corset of the 1800s, but a little different. So here are my stays. Okay, and they lace up in front and they're boned, so they're very stiff. It's kind of a support garment to keep me sitting up straight and give some support. And I've done my hair today in kind of an 18th century style, which was a very poofy style. Women would often put even cages on top of their heads and wrap their hair around it. I don't have very round hair, so I don't have a very big style. And then I've got my pinner cap pinned on top and a couple of rolls here, which was also a popular part of the costume in the era.